I'm already tired of Death Above Life.
What is the key to such a streamlined success compared to many other outfits?
We have been given so many great tours.
Old farts like myself, who's not really old, but pretends to be.
Laddie, you have to.
It is so ridiculously stupid that it is actually hilarious.
Trying to steal other bands' fans.
We would get a bootleg record.
The first show we did with Meshuggah here in Sweden, I walked into the dressing room and pretty much all of them were naked with towels.
Hello, you Metal Pilgrims, and a very special welcome on this episode, because some of you have been asking me to do something like this since we ever first spoke about this band on the show. So today, for the very first time ever, I'm more than happy to welcome Niklas Karlsson of OBRIT CULTURE on the show. Niklas, thank you so much for finding time and joining me. How are you, man?
Thank you for having me, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Well, I'm in Warsaw right now, but I'm from Ukraine originally. So, and my family is there, so I'm checking, the app constantly of how is it going there. So
Yeah.
stressed, but but as good as I can be. So all good.
Understood.
Where are you at? Where are you going somewhere, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, first of all, for being in the car here. I just came to the rehearsal space, but they are, playing drums and shit in there. So I think it was destroyed the audio instead. So now you get a bad video.
But then we would get a bootleg recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, man, talking about bootleg recordings or whatnot. So obviously, the biggest news about Niklas Karlsson, about the world of OBRIT CULTURE overall, is the upcoming release of your newest studio album, Death Above Life, which will be out on October 3rd, I believe, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Media. All right. So first of all, congrats on this new chapter of the band that you guys are opening and letting it out. So before we dive into anything deeper, can you talk about how the process of making this album was in any way, if at all, of course, different from its predecessors for you guys?
Like they say, we always write, in the same way. Basically, I'm sitting home in my apartment. I have my Cubase project. I always, write in one project. I've done that for ever since the Shaman days in 2000, or maybe even the Ninja one. So I have had a few computers crash on me due to it being too much files in there, but it is what it is. But it's always the same thing, write demo, and then the only big difference is that we're playing so much these days. So it's sometimes it's tough to find time to actually sit down and write, because I usually have a hard time switching between live and studio, because it's so different, landscapes or whatever. But I wrote the bulk of it between April and July last year, when we were home. We were basically coming down from the headline tour, and we were about to embark on the Slipknot tour in the States. So we had a couple of months there to do nothing but write, basically. So, and then it was quite easy. It took, compared to other stuff we've done, it took. It was very kind of easy to get, from start to end with when it comes to the demos. But we recorded the bulk of it in November, December, January, and then we sent the files to Buster Oderholm of Humanity's Last Breath to mix it.
Well, to be honest with you, man, watching OBRIT CULTURE rise in the last couple of years has been an absolute pleasure for me as a metalhead, to be honest with you, right? I'm very much of an old school guy. I'm mostly excited about the bands I've been listening to for the past, 25, 30 years. But you are one of those fresh bands that sounds incredibly fresh and combines the old school aggressiveness and this modernity at the same time. So just on my behalf, I just want to say that it was an absolute pleasure. It has been an absolute pleasure so far. And your last studio album has really put you on the map even more so than you guys were at before. So did you feel any kind of pressure to write a very strong follow-up? And especially now with Century Media Records, deal and everything, did you feel an extra pressure of working on Death Above Life?
I mean, at first I would say yes. The day we signed and everything just felt like so much bigger and way more responsibility, even though, I always try to be responsible with, making the music the best at, I can make it. But the more I start to write for this new one, those like voices kind of faded away, and I start to write for myself again. And I think that's the key to, um, if you're honest, with yourself and what you're doing. I think that resonates more instead of trying to craft something for anybody else.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I think it also helps coming from such a small place like Eksjö here in Sweden. I mean, we are basically 10,000 people living here, and the vast majority have no fucking clue of what we are doing or who we are. So I'm just sitting, in my apartment writing music, and then going down to the grocery store, and nothing, it's just an ordinary day life, but I do music. And I think the pressure comes when you are out and meeting people who have expectations on you instead. Yeah.
So you guys are seen as the town weirdos. So like, have you seen this Heavy Trip movie? Like those guys.
I don't know if I have,
You
man. Is it
haven't?
good?
Come on, bro. Like,
No.
I mean, it's so stupid. It is so ridiculously stupid that it is actually hilarious. One of those like
Okay.
almost Spinal Tap kind of movie.
What was the title again?
Heavy
Sorry.
Trip. Heavy Trip.
Heavy Trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will check it out.
In one of the press releases, I think it was, you called this album somewhat of a rebirth of Orbit culture, if I'm not correct. So, can you dive deeper into it? Explain the meaning of Death Above Life and how you tied to this whole thing. And like, what exactly did Orbit culture have to kill off at this point?
Yeah, it's quite a long story, but I will try to, cram it down the best I can. I think the whole rebirth thing really comes from, with us being on central media now. That opened so many doors for us, and it just feels like a new thing. And Death Above Life just happened to be, the first album of with us on central media, basically.
Mhm.
So, but I think the whole more rebirth aspect of it comes from, we have done so many awesome support tours. So which, I would never trade away for anything. We've been having so much fun, but we also had in the back of our mind that we are putting down like the groundwork to become a headliner
Mhm.
band. And I think with the combination of new label, we put down the work of trying to steal other bands' fans on the support tours, and putting the hard work into become headliners, which we're embarking on now. Even though we did like a headliner last year, uh, obviously small clubs and stuff, which was super fun, and we had so much time doing it. But now it feels so much bigger, bigger rooms, bigger. Everything is just bigger, and once it gets bigger, it's a way more responsibility, and that just feels good to have this new team behind us that support us in any way. So when it comes to the title and like the album itself, the lyrics and songs and everything, it is like a kind of a therapy of getting rid of stupid shit that happened in the past. And you know either you cut out people, cut out feelings. That's where like the rebirth really also happens when it comes to the album. So that's Death Above Life for me.
But you're talking about the going on tours with bigger bands, and you had some amazing support runs in the last couple of years, obviously, and stealing off fans of those bands, which is normal. It's like I remember we spoke to KK Downing of now KK's Priest before that of Judas Priest, and he was saying, "Hey man, we did exactly the same thing in the late '70s when we went out on tour with the AC/DC, trying to steal."
Yeah.
So this is normal. This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is there something particular that you feel like you've really learned from one of those bigger names when you went out on the road with them?
I mean, uh, I think Orbit Culture, and I'm so lucky that it was my band, that because we have been given so many great tours, and it's fucking, I can't still believe. I mean, Machine Head in Flames, Avatar, Meshuggah, Slipknot. I mean, the list goes fucking on, right? So it's been the best like school of rock, I call it, that you could ever ask for. I mean, seeing those high profile bands and being able to, whether see how it works behind the scenes, seeing how they are with the crew, how their crew work, how they perform, how they talk to an audience, how everything has been. So we've been like sponges basically, just trying to suck it all in, and we have learned so much for all of those bands, and yeah, we've been incredibly lucky. I mean, just one example is I was a very shy, even though I supposed to, you know, I supposed to be a front man, right? But I was very shy when we first started out, and it took a while to get it loose. But then I saw Anders from In Flames, and he was basically talking shit with the audience,
Hmm.
and that made me feel, less stressful. That because that became, they were exchanging some energy between, Anders and the crowd, that he was firing it up. So that I really got inspired by, and he was like, "You don't have to be so like serious all the time. You can just fuck around with the audience, and people will eat it up." And that made me way more relaxed, I would say.
That's awesome. Because and people who are going to see the show, right? I mean, they go to get entertained most of the time, and they're exactly
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
as you are. Like I mean, most likely the same guys you would have, drunk a beer at a bar, if you weren't on the stage at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you started talking about this. This is a very interesting thing. If you don't mind me asking, Orbit Culture is one of the fastest growing modern metal outfits out there in the world. Why do you think it is so? Why do you think what is the key to such a streamlined success compared to many other outfits who are struggling to get the tours that you guys were getting, for much longer than you?
I I don't know, because like I started this band in 2013, and I mean nothing, absolutely nothing happened for 5 6 years.
Really?
Uh, because I didn't have like a network or anything. And even we were, especially coming from here, we were 2 hours away from Gothenburg. We were 3 or 4 hours away from Stockholm. So even like the local scenes, they had no clue what we were doing here in the rural parts. So I think like just continuing and continuing and continuing
Hmm.
is the key, because then finally somebody, because there's, if for us it was like this, we got approached by a few like very tiny labels when we released an EP called Red Fog, and we were like, this is fucking horseshit. But then we signed with Seek and Strike,
Hmm.
and from there Seek and Strike sent our band to a booking agency in Germany,
Hmm.
so that opened that door, and from there that door opened two more doors. So it was like this tree just
Yeah.
start to evolve in the front of us. So I think it was just a matter of, it took time.
Hmm.
I think from the outside, we for the average fan or whatever, we it looks like we've been around for maybe 3 years, but in reality we've been around now for 12. But I think just being consistent and continue and continue. And if it is a real passion, I don't think it's that hard, because what's hard is keeping a group together. But if you have that passion yourself, people are going to come to you.
That's interesting. And the funniest thing you mentioned that some fans think that you've been around for 3 years or so. I actually found out about you several years ago, actually, guys.
Yeah.
I founded a non-profit foundation here called Steel Wings, and our logo, when our logo, I started posting because we're doing fundraiser with a lot of metal bands like Judas Priest, for example, Doro Pesh, and so on and so forth, fundraising for kids here in Ukraine and so on. And our logo looks pretty much exactly like your logo, but
Oh,
without all the like.
I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. So when I started posting, when I think when we posted it together with Rob Halford, someone was like started saying, "Hey, check this out! Check out this band." I was like, "Oh, really? This is awesome! I fucking love this." So I started, and that's how I got involved in your music, and I fucking loved it ever since, man. To be honest with you, I'm deep down that rabbit hole of hobby culture, and as I said, you're one of the only newer bands out there that actually excites me, and I'm very, very, very on it. Not the only one. I need to have to buy it out, but one of the other ones that actually really truly excites me, and I'm very happy for you guys for.
That's so cool. Thank you so much, man. It warms my cold Swedish heart.
Well, talking about Sweden, though, I mean, I have to ask this. I mean, you're talking about, you're talking about the Swedish metal scene, and the more you talk about it, the more I realize how fucking enormous it is, right? I mean, out of the bands that you even mentioned, Avatar, In Flames, and this is just scratching the surface that you guys have been traveling around with. What do you think it is? Is it something in the water in Sweden that you guys is so so above everyone in terms of music per capita, possibly.
I have no clue. I've been asked this question quite a lot, and I never have really have a good answer for it, other than in school, I would say, music and like drawing or everything that comes like creative is very much supported here. From an early age in school. And I think also it kind of helps that we, especially back in the day when we had so long winters, you were kind of forced to be inside to do something.
And you could either
And
drink or make music, right?
exactly. And yeah, so I don't know, man. But I think the school cultural thing has a big part of it, for sure. And then I think, especially if we roll back the tape to the 70s, ABBA and all that stuff,
Of course.
I think the majority of Swedes and yeah, basically all Scandinavia got an ear for melody and hook.
Hmm.
I think it helps, and it was in all the houses, and you know, I think yeah, it's just a combination of small things that happen to be
Yeah, and this
became
at this
music
point,
makers. Yeah.
at this point, the legacy already possibly works for itself. Like I mean, once the Gothenburg school of melodic metal kind of started, like it started unfolding around. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty cool. Going back to your latest or the upcoming, I guess, studio outfit, because I've heard for the past couple of weeks already, and it's been on repeat for me. So I kind of like that's old news. Give me something new. I would say that compared to Descent, weirdly enough, although it does have slightly different production, it also sounds a little nastier.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little less cinematic, maybe. Is this something? Was it a conscious decision for you guys to go down that route?
I think that more that's more up to Buster, I would say, because I think Buster Oleron, who mixed the record, he's very he's one in the forefront of modern metal production, basically. But I don't think our sound would have worked so well with the stuff that he usually does, like because even though we have maybe some deathcore influences, we maybe have some fall melodic death metal. I don't think like a proper deathcore mix would have worked on our music. And I think he understood that pretty fast, that we are four guys and it was supposed to sound modern, but also like there is this compact feeling of a band playing the shit, if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of like edit it to hell, because we've been very like mechanical
Mhm.
in the past, but we want to loosen it up a bit, and with the mixing and like the whole audioscape of it. Yeah, it's a modern production, but you can still hear that it's a band.
No, it really feels like a mixture of old school and new school. I think that this might be another reason for Orbit Culture success because you guys are equally appealing to the new generation of metalheads who grew up on something, on the whatever core was in the thing. But at the same time, those people who've listened to music that came way before that at the same time. And the old farts like myself, who's not really old, but pretends to be.
Yeah, but I can definitely understand why people have been, especially the older fans, that like, are you changing up the sound now? Like, but not really, but we're just putting, some extra touch here and there on it, and doing some experimentation because we have to,
Mm.
or else it would become quite stale fast. But also, I think it's so cool that even though I don't think it's divided, I think just people have assumption of what orbit culture is for them. But orbit culture for us as a band is that we have to try new stuff,
Mhm.
or else we would just, go insane, basically. Uh, but also, I think it's, as you were saying, I think it's so cool that we have already started to see from the singles that we released, a new audience that we have never seen before, getting into the community. So that's what I love about it.
This
And the old songs are still with us, so they did not die or anything.
Well, hopefully you guys are not going to be one of those bands that only performs the new shit on the road, because that's also not fair to the legacy,
No, no, no.
right? Yeah.
I mean, the this upcoming tour, it is a Death Above Life tour, but it would be fucking weird to not do North Star. A North Star, we might. I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but like, it would be weird to not play Vultures while we serve, and you know, the stuff that took us here,
Yeah.
basically. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully, guys, I will be able to get you on the road. I've never seen you live, I'll be honest with you, and I would love to fucking see you live for the first time. And
What the fuck, laddie? You have to.
yeah, well, maybe we'll do a joint fundraiser or something together. Okay.
Definitely.
And also on behalf of all the Ukrainian, we have different channels for different viewers, but on behalf of all the Ukrainian fans, know that you have a lot of fans in Ukraine, and we would love to see you in the country as well as soon as you can come.
Yes, I would love to, man. We were actually supposed to play there. Uh,
In 2022, yeah.
yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, obviously the shit happened, but we can't wait to be able to come there someday.
So what is next for Orbit Culture? Have you guys started thinking about the next chapter after Death Above Life already?
Yeah, that's I think it's both like a curse and a blessing I have is that I'm already tired of Death Above Life, so I have already started to write new stuff.
I love it.
But I mean, I guess I'm always we're always like a bit, earlier, a year earlier than you know, the majority of people listening to it. So, but yeah, that's what I do. I mean, it is my kind of therapy outlet to write music all the time. So I can't really stop, even if I wanted, even if my like girlfriend at home wanted, because I always have to go up in the night and write shit. But no, but what we will do is like we will obviously tour the shit out of this album, try to hit as many cities and countries that we can, and just have a good time out here now for the next years here. But I think I know this is like kind of a Death Above Life promo interview, but I think we're gonna be pretty fast with the follow up too.
Ah, this is awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I cannot wait to hear it. And once again, I respect the shit out of it. I respect when people are not riding the wave of success of one album for a gazillion years, especially when they're, still up and coming band, a new band, a new force in the world of metal, where you still have to fight for your place on the Olymp. I actually respect it quite a lot, and I'm really excited to see what the next chapter will be. Niklas, talking about heavy metal is literally my biggest passion in the world. I can do it for hours, but do you have a rehearsal to go back to?
Yeah, in a few minutes, yeah.
So to close this episode, can you tell us one funny or touchy story from your touring life in the last couple of years?
I think because I'm quite a embarrassing person sometimes. I'm not fanboying, but when I get close to bigger bands, sometimes I think that they want to talk. So I remember the first show we did with Meshuggah here in Sweden. I was like, I'm gonna buy them beer. That was like my goal. So I just, walked into their dressing room, and pretty much all of them were naked with towels. And I was like, we should drink beer. And they were like, yeah, you can wait outside. But then if you forward the tape a bit, we stayed at the same hotel as them in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we actually had a few beers with them, so everything was cool.
That's awesome.
So, but I got what I wanted in the end.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, this was Niklas Karlsson of Orbit Culture, and their new studio album, Death Above Life, will be out via Century Media Records on October 3rd. So definitely pick it up and check it out. Niklas, thank you so much for finding time and joining me. Any last message for the fans?
Keep your eyes peeled. It's might be something that's coming just before the album is released too.
All right.
But other than that, make sure to listen to the album on October the 3rd. And if you have the time, you should definitely bring your friends and come down to a show this October and November here in Europe.
Awesome, because the only way to enjoy heavy metal is actually in its true form in sweaty clubs and on festivals. I'm with you, man. Thank you so much. Fine time, man. Keep rocking.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks.
Talk soon.